changed your relationship with the club in your own way going all in. You became a minority investor, a part owner. It is incredibly rare for a supporter, and now an investor, to have this kind of bond with the chairman. I can only imagine what you and Mark have in your WhatsApp meeting chats. How have you developed, strengthened, built that relationship, and have you experienced the change?
The ownership conversation came up because I was stepping away from sponsorship, and I took on sponsorship in League One, which is a very, very different financial conversation than Prem sponsorship. But it was, I felt that we were on this trajectory that had felt really special and oddly linked to the kit. We'd finished in League One with the Magical Vegas kit, and then we changed the sponsorship, and then it just went bam, bam. And then there was a conversation of, do I sponsor in Prem or not? I got the bill through and I was like, I don't know, I don't know about this. But part of me was like, I want to do one season in the Prem just because it's been this sort of lucky kit for us, I guess. When me and Mark had the conversation about it, I said, I want to do one season, but I would love to still have involvement in the club. So if there's any way of me having, like, a share, like, win or lose, I don't want the blame for anything. I'm just like, I'm a fan, I want to just enjoy the games, I want to feel like I'm supporting my club and not feel like fans think that I'm in the boardroom picking players. You know, I'm very much a very passive, sit and watch the games and occasionally get to go down to the dressing room and jump around a bit. Whether it's this ownership for the next 50 years or not, I would still love to retain my percent and just be that forever, because it feels like really special being part of it. It's kind of any football fan's dream to do, and I feel very grateful to be given the opportunity to just feel involved in this way.
What does it mean to you, in your own words?
Well, it's always felt like a sense of belonging, you know, like I felt very rudderless when I first started out. I sort of was, you know, had a great deal of success from my late teens, and then was just trying to do things that people thought I should do. So I moved to Los Angeles because that was what pop stars do, and I did this or released this or wore this, and I feel like coming back to Ipswich, again, I go on about it, gives me a sense of community and pride and feeling a part of something. I guess the ownership part of it, I guess it kind of cements that in a way, it makes it permanent. For me, at least, it feels like wherever I am in the world, I'm centred in on this beautiful club, I guess.
It's the ultimate symbol of that rootedness, and you were given, talking about symbols of rootedness, access to an executive box, which is, I think, every single football fan's dream, the opportunity to design, decorate, personalise their own box at their own club. Can you quickly take us inside that process? Tell us some of your favourite features and what was important to you to include.
So I had it gutted, so it usually would, it kind of was a bit corporate and painted white and has like it had a little TV in it, and it was just a sort of glass table and stuff like that. But I had it gutted and turned into a pub. You don't need to go for pre-drinks anywhere else, you know. And it's got me in trouble sometimes, like that United game where, yeah, I didn't realise Aaron was getting interviewed myself. I honestly didn't.
Not a Sheeran fan, Ruben Aaron.
Whatever. But yeah, Jamie said, come see me afterwards, and I was wandering out afterwards. And then about 10 months I saw Jamie, I was like, I'll say hi Jamie, and it was the wrong time. Very clearly the wrong time. But I've learned the lesson, and you know, won't happen again.
I want to touch on the shirts for a minute. You sponsored the team since 2021. You also helped design the Ipswich quite glorious third kit, Suffolk Pink, I believe, which is to honour the shade of paint that's been used in the county since the 14th century. It's got a silhouette of Framlingham Castle, print of sound waves taken from the cheers of the crowd at Portman Road. I am interested in the design process and what you ultimately were trying to communicate about the singularity of your area.
The pink kit, it was quite divisive to begin with. I think a lot of people were unsure of it, but I think the Tottenham game has now made it this, cemented it as this kind of epic kit. Ipswich is obviously the club that I support, but Framlingham is the place that I'm from, so having those two fused and having Framlingham Castle on an Ipswich kit is just huge for me. Yeah, I love it.
I know you've been issued the number 17 as your own official Ipswich Town squad number. We've seen you drive an Ipswich Town logo tractor, quite impressively aggressively to be candid, when you're singing The Boys Are Back in Town at the beginning of the season for Premier League throwdown. You've been serenaded in the dressing room by the entire squad who sang perfect back to you after a win. You've even exchanged club Christmas sweaters with football legend Mr. Elton John. I mean, listening to you, you are a global superstar. You can do or be with anyone. But it seems like when you are watching Ipswich, when you're around Ipswich, when you're with the Ipswich squad, when you're with Mark, I mean, I'm dead inside. I watch football and I feel what other people feel in real life. Does football make you feel alive in a different way to anything else in your being?
Yeah, but I don't think it's just football. I think it's Ipswich Town, because I've got mates who are fans of the Big Six, and you know, they pump so much money into these teams, and they have these amazing players that if they win, it's like, yeah, cool, we won. Obviously we were going to win. And if they lose, it's like the world's ended, and also like everyone thinks that they're the underdog when they then, oh, we have this against us and we have this injury. But being an Ipswich fan, like, we never expect to win. When we're in League One, we're in the Championship, we're in the Prem, we don't expect to win, we go because we love it. So when someone scores, that feeling is so electric and amazing, and it's so like, it just lifts you. Like, as I said, the Man City game, like, regardless of that score, we scored first and we were 1-0 against Man City for 5 minutes, and that, honestly, as an Ipswich Town fan, knowing where we were in League One is huge, and I think that that is the beauty of football, and it's something that I don't think people who are fans of the Big Six, or even you know, bigger teams such as Real Madrid and Barcelona, because there's an expectation to win. Whereas with Ipswich, it's just, we go because we like football, and if we win, we'll celebrate, and if we lose, we'll go again next week.
Ed, ultimately, the secret of life is somewhere in what you're saying, and I relate to it as an Everton fan. It's like, we're not always going to win, but when we score, celebrate any minute you can and dance like you're at your own kid's wedding.
I always say, when people talk to me now about the season, it's kind of like with quite a sheepish thing of like, oh, I know Ipswich, and I'm like, mate, we're on television. Can I tell you, like, 3 years ago, we were not on television, we were going to play on a Tuesday night at Clinton Stanley, and we would be playing home games where 11,000 people would turn up. We have a packed stadium every week, we're on Sky Sports, but all of these things are like, we didn't have this last year, and it's not just we're in the Prem and this is where it ends. This is like the start of everything for us. So it's like, I'm not worried, I've got faith. And I look at clubs like Forest and know that that is where our trajectory will take us.
The back. Supports the ball here.